It is January 2025, and you are cooked. 2 years ago, you were on the cover of Forbes. You were the visionary who was going to revolutionize the global supply chain with AI-powered toaster ovens or whatever nonsense you pitched to venture capitalists. You had the penthouse in New York, the villa in Como, and a team of yes men who told you that your international expansion into Antarctica was a genius move. But reality has a funny way of checking your bank account. The international expansion failed, the financial struggles mounted, and as of this morning, January 2025, your company has officially been declared bankrupt. The creditors are calling. The SEC is asking questions that you really don't want to answer. The investors are looking at you like you're a walking piñata filled with their lost retirement funds. You have two options. Option A, you stay. You face the music. You spend the next decade in court battles. You lose your assets. You move into a one-bedroom apartment in Ohio, and you spend the rest of your life as a cautionary tale on Twitter. Option B, you take the $10 million you secretly siphoned off into offshore accounts before the ship went down, and you vanish. You delete your existence. You become a ghost. If you are watching this, you have chosen option B. Welcome to the art of disappearing. This is not a guide for the faint of heart. This is a guide for the desperate, the wealthy, and the morally flexible. This is how to disappear completely with $10 million. Before you can disappear, you need to make sure your money disappears first. You cannot walk out of the country with a suitcase full of cash. That only works in movies and for Pablo Escobar. If you try to walk through JFK with $10 million in a duffel bag, the TSA is going to confiscate it, and you're going to end up in a federal prison before you even get to buy your fake mustache. The banking system is a surveillance grid. Every transaction over $10,000 is flagged. If you move $10 million from your Chase account to a bank in the Caymans, you might as well send a handwritten invitation to the FBI. You need to get your money out of the system without tripping the alarms. You need to embrace the chaos. You need assets that are high value, low weight, and untraceable. First, diamonds. Not the ones you buy at the mall. Retail diamonds are a scam. You need investment-grade stones bought from private dealers in cash. They are small, they are undetectable by metal detectors, and they hold value anywhere in the world. You can fit $2 million of high-clarity stones into a tube of toothpaste. Is it comfortable? No, but chances of getting caught are absolutely low. Second, the crypto wash. But you can't just buy Bitcoin on Coinbase. Coinbase knows who you are. They have your ID, they have your face. You need to move your funds into privacy coins like Monero. Then you need to run them through a mixer. A mixer takes your coins, jumbles them up with thousands of other people's coins, and spits them out into a new wallet that has no connection to your identity. It's like laundering money, but for nerds. You put $5 million into cold storage wallets, little USB sticks that look like nothing. You memorize the seed phrase. You destroy the physical list. That money now exists only in your brain. You are a walking bank vault. Now you have $3 million in crypto, $2 million in diamonds, and let's say $5 million in cash stored in safety deposit boxes across non-extradition countries that you set up years ago because you're not an idiot. You are ready to move. But you can't just leave. You have to die. Faking your own death is the ultimate flex. It is the reset button on life, but it is incredibly difficult to pull off. If you mess this up, you're not disappearing, you're just committing fraud with extra steps. Most people get this wrong. They try to stage a car crash. They try to fake a kidnapping. A car crash leaves physical evidence. A kidnapping invites a police investigation. You want the police to look at your case, shrug their shoulders and say, well, he's gone, and then go to lunch. You need an accident where the body is never found, but death is the only logical conclusion. The classic move is the drowning at sea. You rent a boat, you go out on a choppy day, the boat is found empty, drifting, maybe a life jacket is missing. Everyone assumes you fell overboard and got eaten by sharks. It's poetic, it's clean. But here is where people fail. They leave a trail. There was a guy in Britain, John Darwin, the canoe man. He faked his death in a canoe accident to claim life insurance. He got away with it for years. He was living in Panama, living the dream. But then he came back to the UK because he missed his sons, and he walked into a police station claiming he had amnesia. He got cooked. He went to prison. If you fake your death, you can never come back. You have to kill your ego. You cannot check your own obituary. You cannot attend your own funeral in a disguise just to see who's crying. That is narcissism, and it will get you caught. For our scenario, since it is January 2025 and you are a disgraced tech CEO, we're going to go with a hiking accident in a remote region of the Andes. You fly to South America under your real name. You check into a hostel. You tell everyone you are going to climb a dangerous peak to find yourself after the bankruptcy. You leave your gear at the base, you walk into the jungle, and you never walk out. The authorities will search for a week. They will find your backpack near a cliff edge. They will declare it a tragedy. Your investors will write you off as a tax loss, and while they're mourning your poor financial decisions, you're already 3 borders away. You are dead. Congratulations, but now you have a new problem. You look exactly like the guy who just died. In the age of facial recognition, CCTV, and AI surveillance, your face is a liability. You need to change it, and I don't mean putting on a pair of glasses like Clark Kent. That doesn't work. You need medical intervention. You take $50,000 of your stash and you find a discreet plastic surgeon in Brazil or South Korea. You are not looking to become a supermodel, you are looking to become generic. You change the nose, you alter the jawline, you get hair plugs or you laser it all off, you change your eye color with contacts, you gain 30 pounds or you lose 30 pounds. You need to look in the mirror and not recognize yourself. If you look in the mirror and see the bankrupt CEO of 2025, you are failing. But physical appearance is half the battle. You need paper. You need a passport. There are 2 ways to get a passport, the legal way and the I know a guy way. The legal way is called a golden visa. Countries like Malta, St. Kitts, or Vanuatu will sell you citizenship if you invest enough money. For a few $100,000, you become a legal citizen. But this leaves a paper trail. The government of Malta knows who you are. They run background checks. If Interpol comes knocking, Malta will hand you over faster than a tech CEO sells stock before a crash. You need the black market option. This is a high-risk, high-reward play. You need a dead double. You find the identity of someone who died young, around your age, whose death was not widely reported. You apply for a birth certificate in their name. You use that birth certificate to get a driver's license. You use that license to get a passport. This is highly illegal. It is federal fraud. But you are already legally dead, so who cares? Let's say you manage to procure a high-quality passport from a European country. Let's say Portugal. You are now João Silva. You are a freelance web designer. You have a beard, you have a tan, and you have a passport that scans at the airport. You are ghosting the system.
Where do you go? This is the most critical decision you will make. Do not go to Dubai. Dubai is full of influencers, cameras, and people who know you. It is a surveillance state with a Gucci belt. If you go to Dubai, you will end up in the background of a TikTok within 48 hours, and the internet detectives will find you. Do not go to London. London has more CCTV cameras per person than actual people. You sneeze in London, and the government has it on 4K video. Do not go to the United States. Obviously, you are wanted there. You need a country with 3 things: low surveillance, a cash-based economy, and no extradition treaty with your home country. You might think of Thailand or Bali. These are amateur choices. They are full of tourists. Tourists have smartphones. Smartphones have cameras. You do not want to be the background character in someone's vlog. You want somewhere boring, somewhere nobody looks. Uruguay, Paraguay, rural Argentina. Let's pick Uruguay. It's safe, it's quiet, it has a high standard of living, and most importantly, people mind their own business. You buy a modest house in a small coastal town. You pay cash. You don't buy a mansion. A mansion attracts attention. You buy a regular house, you drive a regular car. This is the hardest part for people with $10 million. You have the money to buy a Bugatti, but you have to drive a Toyota. You have the money to wear a Richard Mille, but you have to wear a Casio. If you start flashing wealth in a small town in Uruguay, people will ask questions. Who is this guy? Where did he get his money? Why does he look like that guy who ruined the supply chain industry in 2025? You have to live the ghost tier lifestyle. You are comfortable, but you are invisible. You are the guy who sits at the cafe reading the newspaper. You are nobody. You have the face, you have the ID, you have the house. Now you have to deal with your biggest enemy, the internet. You are addicted to the internet. We all are. You want to check your email. You want to see what people are saying about your death on Twitter or X or whatever they call it now. You want to check the stock price of your bankrupt company to see if it hits 0. You cannot do this. Every time you log into an account associated with your old life, you are sending a GPS signal to the people hunting you. The NSA, the FBI, private investigators hired by your angry investors. They are watching your old digital footprint. If your Gmail account suddenly logs in from an IP address in Uruguay, the game is over. You need to go full analog, no smartphone, or if you have one, it's a burner with a local SIM card and you never ever log into anything from your past. You need to use a VPN routed through 3 different countries just to read the news. You cannot like posts, you cannot comment, you are a spectator in the digital coliseum. This is where the psychological toll hits. You see your friends moving on. You see your ex-wife spending your life insurance money on a new boyfriend who drives a better car than you. You see the world forgetting you, and you have to let it happen. You have to kill your ego every single day. Speaking of killing your ego, this is the perfect time to remind you that if you want to level up your lore and learn how the elite operate in the shadows, you need to subscribe to the channel and like this video. We are decoding the matrix of wealth, and you don't want to be left behind with the NPCs. Join the congregation and increase your aura. Do it now.
Okay, you're settled in Uruguay. You're Joao, the web designer, but you still have a problem. You have millions of dollars in crypto and diamonds, but you can't just walk into a dealership and buy a car with Bitcoin. You need clean cash. You need to launder your own money. Since you have $10 million, you can afford to take a loss. You start a business, a cash-heavy business, a laundromat, a car wash, a bar. You take your crypto, you sell it peer-to-peer for cash using local brokers who don't ask questions. You take that cash and you slowly feed it into your business. You ring up fake sales. You pay taxes on it. Yes, you are a fugitive, but you are going to be a tax-paying fugitive in your new country. Al Capone got caught on taxes. You will not make that mistake. You pay your taxes in Uruguay. You become a pillar of the community. You donate to the local soccer team. You are a nice guy. Nobody suspects the nice guy who runs the car wash is actually a disgraced CEO sitting on a mountain of stolen capital. 6 months go by, then a year. You haven't been caught. You are officially getting away with it. But this is when the paranoia sets in. Every time a police car drives past your house, your heart stops. Every time you see a stranger in town who looks like an American tourist, you think they are an FBI agent. You start sleeping with a pistol under your pillow. You realize that $10 million buys you freedom, but it also buys you a cage. You are in a prison of your own making. You can never go home. You can never see your parents again. You can never eat at your favorite restaurant in New York. You start to wonder, was it worth it? You look at the news. Your old company has been liquidated. The scandal has died down. The world has moved on to the next disaster. You are a footnote in history. Remember that guy who vanished in the Andes? Crazy story. And then, one day, you slip up. Maybe you get drunk at the local bar and you start speaking English with a perfect American accent. Maybe you log into your old Instagram just for a second to see a picture of your dog. Maybe you use your real name at the hotel check-in because it's muscle memory. And just like that, the signal is sent. The algorithm flags it. A low-level analyst at the NSA gets a ping. They match the IP address, they match the location, they send a tip to the local authorities. 2 weeks later, you are walking out of your car wash in Uruguay. The sun is shining. You feel safe. And then you see them, 2 men in suits, wearing sunglasses that cost more than your car. They don't look like locals. They have that Fed aura. They approach you. They say your real name. Mr. CEO, we've been looking for you. And in that moment, you realize the ultimate truth of the Billionaire Bible. You can buy a new face. You can buy a new passport. You can buy a new life. But you can never buy your way out of the consequences of your own actions. Or maybe you can. Maybe you anticipated this. Maybe you have a second escape plan, a getaway boat docked at the marina, a second stash of diamonds, a third passport hidden in the floorboards. You smile at the agents. You reach into your pocket, not for a weapon, but for a smoke bomb. You throw it. You run. The chase begins again, because that is the life you chose. You are not a businessman anymore. You are a legend. You are lore. You are the main character in the greatest game of hide and seek ever played.